Okay, if you watched all the previous videos, I fixed the model, now everything looks good. I even can turn on the shades so you can see the whole thing is in a good place. But the thing is, and what is this shade here, honestly? So the thing is, as I showed you, the lines are not aligned between the different floors, and yeah, there's another shade here to delete. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to align things between two floors and then do self-adjacency, and then we can call it a day. So to do that, let me turn off the shades. Go to top view, turn off this color so I can show you what's the challenge here. You can see here, right? This is the thing that's happening. So what I want to do, first I want to align these two between two floors. So this shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a difference here. If I go to Revit, probably check a section here. I don't have a section. Is this going through that? Yes. Let's see what's going on. So you see, this is why. This is like a slightly in the back, gets the middle of this. So I'm going to use this line in the bottom and just match both of them for that. So top view. And one thing I didn't mention, I usually stay in one view, like one view at a time, but if you have larger screen and when you're working, you can actually have multiple views, so you don't have to change between the views, you can work at the same time, and this is a better practice, just FYI. For this tutorial, I'll just zoom in a single one. So let me draw a line here, and then I'm going to use PO align to grid. Select geometry, this time I'm going to select both floors, top and bottom. So let's add to this number a little bit, so 0.3. And then in X direction, I want this to snap. So X, custom, select this. It shows you the plane here and say if you accept. Yes, the plane looks right to me, and done, ran it, and now the issue is resolved. You saw this moved, you can see here this also moved, so we don't have that gap anymore. So we can go do the same thing here. There will be a challenge here. So when I do that, you'll see that if I align everything to this edge, this aperture will also get aligned. So that will be my challenge. Probably, let's see what's the distance. There are different ways I can lock this. 0.05, so this is really hard. So I'm going to lock this object before to make sure this doesn't align to cause a problem. I have nothing else here to be a problem. For these ones, I already solved adjacency. Is it going to be a problem? No, it's not going to be a problem. So the thing that I want to do, I'm going to align everything, all these faces, to a single line here to clean everything up. So I'm going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to align all the lines, both floors here, and so the distance in Y direction is 0.1 here, right? So I think that's a good tolerance to pick. So this is 0.12. So if I do 0.15, it should catch everything that I want. So save this. This align is going to change a lot of things, but it should be fine. Align to grid. Select geometries. I'm going to select all the geometries around here. And then this is in Y direction. Custom, select this, accept, yes. For threshold, it says 0.2 is good, right? So now let's run it and keep our fingers crossed. So this is all good. This is all good. I don't see any errors. Let me color this. Yeah, I was looking for something to be wrong. Oh, even if I locked this, it moved it still. So not a great news. So I have now two apertures. This is now very confused. So let me unlock and see what happened. So it says invalid missing host. So I added like duplicate aperture here. So let me delete that one. And then for this one, I'm going to move edge. This is also another thing that we should fix on our side. 0, 1, if I remember correctly, or 0, 0, 1. 0, 0, 1. Okay. And now you should know, all of you, how to fix this now, right? PO remove properties, PO add apertures, and then select this one, and here we go, this is fixed. Okay, so that's the interesting thing that we wanted to happen was, oh, like I think this one also has this issue. So yeah, this moving apertures is not a great idea. We have to have a better solution for this. That's on our side, it will come. Again, it's not something to stop you from fixing your stuff, at least for now. So all I need to do is to go in and do a few move edges, but of course, obviously, this is something that you don't want to happen. It shouldn't be happening, really, in the first place for you to fix it. So -0, 0, 1. Okay, this is fixed, that's fixed. So this one moved when we did the alignment to this one, and the other one moved when we did the alignment to the other one. So this is a problematic one. Let me isolate this and try to fix this for you. So what has happened is, you see this thing has moved, and because this is moved, it has moved all the window thing with itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move edge, select this edge, and then I'm going to move it in this direction for 0, 1. And I see like this one is also moved. So now I have to show you a little bit more of Rhino commands. So I'm going to draw a line here and use nearest. I could have offset, but again, I'm trying to keep this simple. So I'm going to trim this, cutting object, this. So I just trim this. It says it's okay. So the curve I can delete. I can, now what I can do is, let's see if this aperture is added. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to exit from this and then see if everything is okay. So it looks like fine. I'm going to change this and select this, and yeah, this is inside this room. So this is the one. Okay, looks fine. Again, there are some preview issues on rendering because the faces are on top of each other, but that shouldn't be an issue. So okay, let's save this. Let's do another PO validate. I have one more subface. Show me. Ah, God, like the same issue. So it's okay, move edge. I think one of the things that you see here, again, this is something that will be fixed, but the fact that we can find all this right away before they become an issue, I think that's the real value, that I can move edge and move it a little bit here. Okay, I kept it like this. Now PO validate model. Hey, the model is valid. So now, wait, it's valid, but we haven't solved adjacency. Let's do solve adjacency first and see if it's still valid. So okay, save. PO solve adjacency. Oops, I did that. PO validate model. Yes, I'm getting tired. I should have it stop. Okay, now congratulations. It's a valid model. We solve adjacency, but let's just do another check to make sure everything is fine. So I remove all the outdoor, and now if you look through the model, looks good. One thing that's strange here is, oh, okay, this is all the same. I thought like there is another extra face here, and it wasn't. So yeah, congratulations. This is a valid, clean model. Took us a little bit of time with all the things that I had to mention, but if you do it without like a normal, just do it yourself. For this model, it should not take more than half an hour to fix everything. And the larger the model gets, especially for extruded model, in a combination of the align command, PO align, and actually maybe I should have shown you here. Just click here and you see all the different commands that are helpful for fixing the stuff. You have merge room, split room, solve adjacency, remove properties. I use a lot of this, like rebuild, fix room children links. Actually, I could have used this command. I didn't use for fixing those children. And then we have to find a better way for running that align without breaking the apertures. Or maybe there is already a good way that I don't know. I asked Minipo, and you will all know. Okay, valid model. Maybe to celebrate, if you watched until now, like probably another extra minute is not going to kill us. So let me export this as export. Select objects to export. We want, oh, let's bring the shades back actually. Maybe I can do actually save as GBXML, and I'm going to select this clean one, save, yes. So now we have save GBXML, and then I'm going to save as, and here I'm going to select IES for you, gem. Save it also as a gem file, and now I'm going to open it in IES and DesignBuilder to see if it is really a clean model. Again, we could have used the Pollination plugin and we had this, I don't know, an hour ago, instead of like doing this, but why not? So, okay, new project, do this, file, import, beam file, tutorial, not the GBXML file, the gem one, open, no errors, okay, and here we go, and you see all the local shades are also translated correctly with some thickness, so they can be used in IES. And here we go, we have a clean model, and actually this nice shade from Revit is coming in. This is something that our plugin doesn't do as good, but I mean like for energy simulation, it doesn't really, that small thing doesn't make a difference, only slows your run. But okay, this one is successful. Let's do a GBXML import here to DesignBuilder. Open new file. Okay. Oh wow. Import 3D model. Yes. Okay. Okay, waiting for DesignBuilder to prepare building data. It takes a little bit longer than what I would like it to take, but it's okay. Let's go select the GBXML file in tutorial. So this is the one that we called clean. Open, next. Things are looking good. Finish. It will give me an error for the shading, of course, because of how it imports shade objects. But other than that, the model looks good. You get all the things named correctly. You have all the subfaces. So yes, as you see, success. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you get a better sense of the abilities of the Rhino plugin. Again, as I said, there are video tutorials walk you step by step. This was mostly like dealing with this model and just using a few random commands here and there to get the stuff fixed. Yeah, let us know your thoughts if I have any questions, and I hope you can use this to fix your GBXML models instead of redrawing everything from scratch. Thank you.